Hello my pretties, it's Minder and welcome to Nightmare Nocturne's 13 Days of Halloween. If you're new, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as the bell icon. So 13 Days of Halloween is where Jay and I had asked our viewers to submit their stories of their real-life paranormal encounters. But today we are going to start off with mine. But first, I just want to say this is my third time recording this video, only because I keep having tech issues while editing. While the recording is fine itself, every time I edit I will end up getting a black screen or distorted video. And this all decided to happen after my closet door opened on its own. Also, while I'm sitting down here, things are messing with me. So let's hope this video makes it. So my story goes back to July of 2013. An old acquaintance and I went to San Diego for a girls' weekend. And on that trip, we decided to take a ghost tour in Old Town. On that tour, we were able to visit the famous Whaley House, but a few blocks down the road, we got to visit a very famous cemetery. Now, please forgive me, out of everyone in my family, I did not inherit the Spanish gene, so I have a hard time pronouncing, but we went to Campo Santo Cemetary, which means the Holy Field. A little bit of history on the cemetery. It was founded in 1849, but when Old Town had its downfall, the brick chapel ended up burning down, and they decided to build a streetcar line literally right through the cemetery, leaving all the souls of the dead trapped underneath the road. Today, the cemetery only has 477 bodies buried in it, thanks to Walter P. Temple, who ended up filing a lawsuit preventing any further damage to the cemetery. But in 1917, he ended up purchasing the land as well as the 75 acres around it and started to reconstruct it. So back to my story, we go into the graveyard where the tour guide told us to look around. Everybody in the group was walking very, very carefully as to not disturb any of the graves. The graves were very unique in their own. They had white picket fences or crosses or rocks around them. The tour guide ended up chuckling to himself as he watched us all tiptoe around all the graves. And the reason why he was giggling is he let us know that the graveyard was actually extended well into the street. He had us look at the street where it has little metal discs that said gravesite on them. The tour guide did inform us that he had never received any paranormal activity on his own while visiting that cemetery. Even though it is said to have flashing lights, ghost orbs, apparitions floating above the grave sites, even affecting the residents around the cemetery as well as the businesses, that they have had random power outages, alarms going off, and appliances turning on and off for no reason at all. There are also stories about the cars parked on the street where the gravesite markers are, that their cars would not start or their car alarms would go off for no reason. The tour ended around 11:30 p.m. and we decided to walk back to the cemetery because we felt we didn't have enough time to visit the grave sites and take pictures. The tour guide did tell us a sad story about the grave digger that worked in that cemetery. His last grave that he dug was his own. So my friend was up by the church remains and I was over by the grave digger's plaque. So while we were taking pictures, I was holding my phone like this. I was taking pictures of the plaque and the grave, and I was going this way, and as soon as I went this way, I felt very lightly and very cold something go up my arm just like that. And at that moment, my fight or flight kicked in and I flew. Like, I have never ran that fast in my adult life, and I never want to do it again. I ended up stopping at the bar because it was well lit, and my friend's like, "What are you doing? You're the one that likes this stuff." And all I could say was, it touched me. And actually, when I ran, I screamed, "He's here!" And I took off. We were going through the pictures and they all looked exactly the same, except for that last one, which was this one. That one, kids, is a ghost orb. And I am very proud of this picture because it is my first actual piece of evidence about the paranormal world. You may believe what you want to believe, but the fact that you're here tells me that you kind of maybe believe in the unknown in the paranormal world, and you're trying to figure it out just like the rest of us. Now, you may believe it or you may not, you may try and debunk it, but in my opinion, that is a ghost orb, and the fact that I actually got to feel something touch me was creepy in its own. It doesn't bother me as much anymore, but the reason why I ran off screaming like a little girl was because it was the shock factor. I have never been physically touched by anything out of this world. Well, that wraps up the first video of 13 Days of Halloween, a little bit shorter, a little bit different, but I'd like to know what you think about my picture. Is it a ghost orb to you, or is it a dust particle? Also, what was your first paranormal encounter? Please leave it in the comments and let us know. So, same Batman time, same Batman channel. We'll see you tomorrow. Sleep tight, little monsters.